Hello there and welcome back to another Thunder's Productions tutorial. I'm the madman behind the mic, Jag Thunder, and this is Minecraft. What's up guys, and welcome back to another cool fun tutorial. This one is going to be on how to sink a ship in Minecraft. I have gotten lots and lots of requests on how to do this, especially after I released my HMS Hood promo video showing this HMS Hood sunken with a lot of fire and smoke all over it, and a lot of people really wanted a tutorial on how to do that. Very difficult to teach, guys. I'm going to do my best. There are two ways to do this. There is the easy way, of course, and then there is the very hard way. The easy way, if you're on PC, you are in luck. That is the easy way. MCedit is going to be your best friend, or World Edit. So you can do this with any ship. I'm going to teach you the technique. I did it with my Titanic. You probably saw that on the thumbnail if that's the one that I chose for this video. And we'll fly down here and we'll take a look at it again. And I've noticed a few things with my Titanic that are severely bad. My little propellers here in the back are pretty sad looking. But anyways, no, I'm not going to go back and rebuild my Titanic. I think it looks pretty good, and that's underwater most of the time anyways. You can always touch that up later. But anyways, that is what the Titanic looks like in its sunken state. It turned out really good, and it took me probably about 15 minutes total to do. So anyways, that is just a straight sinking, either, hopefully by the bow, if that's the way it's going down, or if you're kind of breaking in half and then taking one piece down at a time. That is the easiest way to do it. And then later on in the tutorial, I'll give you some pointers on how to give it a list. Basically, your list is when it leans off of vertical. Left or right is going to be your list. So you can see this is listing to the left, probably about 12 or 15 degrees. Just guessing there. I don't have a calibrated eye for being a protractor. I'm gonna babble. Let's go over here. Let's start building. Screw all the talking. Basically, do this on land if you can do this, again, in MCedit. If you're starting this in water, I'm going to annotate on the screen, and you can jump to that part, and you can see me set up a little box and a guide on how to do that. But if you want to watch through this here, this will still give you a good idea of what we're going to do. You're going to take your ship, and you're going to have your length, and at the very bow, at the very bottom where it touches, you're going to lay a block. Again, if you have World Edit, this makes it so much easier. All right, we're going to go ahead and set a block on the very bottom at the front of the ship, on the very lowest part of where you want to start the sinking, or basically the angle. Again, if you're doing this in MCedit, it's not going to matter how deep your water is yet. I'm going to show you how to get that later. Right now, you're just going to worry about the angle that you want this thing to sink at. That's the easy part. So basically, you're going to grab this front block, and you're going to use World Edit or whatever you have, and we're going to run clear down to the other end. Make sure that you're straight the whole time.
And that's not fucking straight. Whoa. Okay, do not use speed.
Alright, so you're going to grab this block and you're going to go all the way down to the other side and make sure that you're straight. Do not veer off or you're going to have a crooked angle. And we're going to go all the way to the end of the ship. I guess I could speed up just a hair. And when you get to the end of your ship, or somewhere thereabouts, that is where you're going to build the height. Alright, now the height of your is going to be whatever you want it to make it. Again, MCedit, it's going to make this very simple anyways. When we get into the second part of the manual, it's going to make it a little more extreme. But anyways, put in your water line and kind of get an idea of about where you want your water at. This was a kind of a rough draft when I first put it in, and of course my water line ended up being much higher, and I shifted things around a little bit. But anyways, kind of figure out where you want your water, kind of gives you a good idea, and then just start pulling your blocks up, and then go above your water line and figure out just about how much you want to have sticking out of the water. Now, I do want to mention at this point, when you start moving your ship with MCedit, or even as you build it, you're going to get what I call tearing. Tearing of the ship, or tearing of the schematic after you build a ship, whatever you're going to be using. And tearing is caused from everything getting shifted. And what happens is this right here. You're going to start getting holes in the ship. You can see it here, all the way around underneath. There's just a bunch of holes, and I know I've got my shadow or my shaders on, and it's probably hard to see it, but there's a lot of holes all the way through the ship that you're going to have to fix. So the more list and the more angle that you put on your ship, going into the water, the more tearing that you're going to have, and that is going to require a lot of fixing by hand. So I would not recommend putting a very, very steep angle on it or a very, very steep list on it. Again, because you're going to make yourself a lot of work. So anyways, go above the water and figure out about how high you want it. Again, for me, it's about twice the distance of my water line, or just a little bit more, and that gives a very nice subtle sinking, especially for the Titanic. Again, you can play around, lots of practice. It took me several tries to get this quite right. But you're going to select your second block, HPOS 2, and now as you can see to the right, I have a very solid, or a very skinny line selected, and it looks like a big wall. Now you're wondering, if you don't know this command, it is line and then a material, and I'm going to use 35, which is wool. That's the easiest one to use, and then 0. That gives you a single line from the HPOS 1 to HPOS 2. It will automatically figure out your angle. Otherwise, you can just go ahead and start and play around with sets of like 4 and go 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, or 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, or 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, or 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. You get the idea. But if you're using this part of the tutorial anyways, you should have that command, and that will give you a very nice angle guide to go by. And this is where you're going to set your schematic up against and start raising your ship. That's the easy part. It's not that hard. Again, you're just going to trial and error and figure out what angles that you want and what list that you want. Again, if you're doing a list from left to right, you're going to start on the center line of your ship and figure out how much you want it to lean. Again, here's my water line. So if we go up right here,
and I'm just going to pull this up just so I can see where the water's at.
All right, and then the height of your ship, we're going to take that all the way up to here. And I'm not going to count this out, but of course you guys will, and I'm just going to get a rough idea. Let's say this is the top of your ship right here, and then figure out how much you want it to lean to the left or the right. And again, I won't recommend going very far on this. Probably about something like that looks good. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to we're going to grab the HPOS 1, or your first point. And then we're going to go to our second point down here, and then do our line command and deselect it so you can see it. And that is going to be the guide that you're going to follow with your schematic from that point. Again, after you raise it, you're going to reselect down to this point, and this will make more sense when you see the MCedit part. And then you're just going to start shifting everything to the left or the right. After you're done, this is the hard part. This is where you're going to have to go back in, and again, depending on how much tearing that you've done, you're going to have to start repairing your ship. Just go in by hand and then just start making it look even. Parts that are underwater, if you don't want to mess with it, don't mess with it. Parts that are above the water, you probably want to at least make look halfway decent. Again, when I did the Titanic, I only had one piece that tore really, really bad that I had to, and it's not even that bad. I had to put one more block right here at the bottom of this here to kind of fix that on the mast. And then you can see it took my iron bars and separated them. So I had to go through and connect all the iron bars. Again, that is the longest part or portion on sinking a ship. And of course, it depends on the shape of your ship. And I mean, there's a lot of different variables here, guys. But this is the basics on how to sink your ship. All right, so that's how you do it. If you're using a PC version, very, very easy. The hardest thing, again, is just going back and fixing everything, and you should have a blast and a really, really good time sinking all kinds of your ships. And it works best if you have a custom world. That way you can use some really nice deep water. And that's it. All right, those that want to stick around for the very, 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 very hard part, it will be after the MCedit part, and I will annotate it here on the screen. All right, guys, so after you have everything laid out for the angle that you want for sinking of your ship, the next part is super, super easy. A little time consuming, but it's very, very simple. Basically, you're going to take your ship and you're going to line it up with the pieces that you set up for your angle, and then just start moving everything up according to that. So I'm just going to go ahead and open up my Titanic. All right, and I'm going to set it down right next to it. And then we're going to come in here so I can get a little bit better look at it, and make sure you don't copy water if you've already done this. All right, slide it over and line it up with your first block, and we're going to import it. All right, leave the whole ship or the entire ship selected, And all we're going to do is we're going to start moving everything over according to our guide. So depending on how you selected this, you're going to grab your left or your right, and start moving this in one block at a time to the right, so that you leave everything else selected except for the bow of the ship, the very front of it. You're going to start there and start working backwards, and you're going to move it up by one. So basically you're going to grab these buttons over here, this green one, you're going to click on it and hold, and then hit Q, and the ship should move up, everything that has been selected. Alright, once everything is moved up, then you just keep moving to the right or left, whichever side that you're on, and just keep lining up with the grid and hitting nudge and up. Now usually for this part I click undo because I've done this several times and it's a lot faster on the system. But anyways, I click nudge again and go up. And again, I just keep moving down. It's very systematic, it's very self-explanatory, very, very easy. So when you are finished, I'm going to go ahead and load up my other one so you can see what it looks like. Alright, so when you're finished, that is what you should have. You should have a sunken ship, or a sinking ship rather. Again, will depend on your angle. Now remember about the tearing that I was talking about in the first part of this tutorial. You may have to go back and fill in some spaces by hand and readjust a few things, as you can see on the one that I did here. The only tearing that I really had was right here on the back mast, and then also on the iron bars going up through. Other than that, everything else looked pretty good. All right, once you have this done, go ahead and select the whole thing. And the easiest way that I have found to do it is go ahead and select one layer underneath it and go to your fourth one, which is your fill and replace. And you're going to replace the grass with some kind of material. Whoops. So we're going to select grass, and then we're going to replace with an R. And then I like to use double stone just because it's easy to see. You can use stone, whatever. It's just force of habit. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and replace that underneath. And then we can deselect it. Now we know exactly how much space that we're going to need around it. All right, now to figure out how deep you want to go, usually I'll grab the very bottom of it right here, and then I'll kind of eyeball and figure out how much I want underwater, because this is nice and level. I can grab kind of the side of the ship and get an idea of how deep I want this in the water. Now we can go by the one that I've already done over here. I think it is 37 high. So I'm going to grab the ground here, and I'm going to run the length of the outside of the platform that we just made. And I'm going to select that, and I'm going to move everything up so I don't select the grass. And then I'm going to go up 37 blocks. So there's 33, and then 37. And I'm going to make a wall out of some kind of material. On this, I just use one just because it's easier. And then we're going to throw a wall over on the other side. And that is easily done by hitting the clone button and then just nudging it over. Again, keeping to the outside of your platform here on the bottom. Click clone, and then that wall is finished. And then grab the bottom of this one here. And sometimes you got to move around a little bit to get a little bit better view of it right there. And click there, hit 4, 1, enter, enter, and that builds a wall. And then I can just come down here and do the same thing. And I can either just clone that other piece and slap it in here, just like that, and deselect. All right, now you know where the water is going to fall. And the reason you need this is because when you do the filter for your water section, if you don't have this wall here, it's going to try to filter your whole world, and you're probably going to crash your computer. So make sure you contain your water for the filter. The next thing I do, and I'm off by one block, but it's not going to hurt nothing. Anyways, always one block, isn't it? So you're going to double select a corner and then move this out, move that out, and then you can go 4, and then I pick 9 for your water, and then hit enter and put one down in the lower corner, and then I go to the opposite end to the upper corner up here. All right, and then once you're up here in this corner here, just do the same thing, just move it out, go 4, 9, and hit enter, enter. And then you have a piece of water. You have to have 2 pieces of water to do a filter. If there's no water there to connect to, it can't filter anything. That's why you put these 2 pieces in. So you're going to grab this one here, and then you're going to go all the way to the back, and you're going to grab your secondary piece right back here and select your water area. All right, the next step can be very, very time consuming depending on your computer. At this point, if you have a lot of unsaved edits, you want to save them. before doing this. There is a chance you can like lock your computer up and lock up the software MCedit, and you'll have to do a Control-Alt-Delete and close the program and start over. Depending on the speed of your computer and the power of your computer will depend on how big of a ship, how big of an area of flooding that you can do. This one here on my computer, it was pretty fast, but it still took me about 10 to 12 minutes to do a full filter of water on this size ship. Somewhere around there, I can't remember. I went up, I came back, and it was done. So I'm going to estimate probably about maybe 10 minutes. If you have a slow computer, if you have a very rough computer that cannot handle a lot of thinking, go ahead and cut this into quarters or thirds even. So basically you just take your water block and put one down here, and then do another section of water block, another section. Basically cut this thing into fourths. It will be a lot faster and it'll be a lot easier on your system. All right, once you're ready, you're going to go to this button right here that says filter, and you're going to click on that, and it's going to bring up your filter and your effect. You're just going to worry about the filter. You're going to click on that, and you're going to find classic water flood, and make sure that flood water is selected. And again, make sure that, if you're doing it in sections, make sure that you have at least 2 water blocks, one in the bottom corner and one at the top corner, selected before clicking filter. Otherwise, it won't filter correctly. So once you have what you're comfortable and you're happy with selected, click on filter, and it will fill with water. I'm not going to do it because I've already done it, and I don't want to sit here and wait until it's done. But once you are finished, this will be filled with water surrounding your ship. And then all you have to do is just pull this up, and then you can either just you can either copy it or cut it, and then you have a very nice schematic of your ship sinking in the water, just like this over here. And MCedit is kind of funny. There it is. It's rendered out. It will look just like that when you pull it out, and you can place it anywhere in your, hopefully, custom world, because regular worlds usually don't go that deep unless you found a very, very nice water biome that you can stick this in, and again, depending on how deep you made your angle. Other than that, that's the easiest way to do a sinking ship or a sinking battleship in Minecraft. Now, as far as your list goes, I talked about that in the first section. Basically, you're going to do the exact same thing, except before you do the water and the walls, you're going to have a secondary piece right here, and I'm doing this prior to the first piece of the tutorial, so I'll go back and put that in. There will be a piece that's going to display your list. So you're going to have, after you raise your ship up at an angle, basically you're going to do the same thing, except you're going to go from the right to the left against your guide that you've put here for how much list you want. Again, watch how much list you put on it. The more you put on it, the more tearing you're going to have, and the more filling in you're going to have to do. I usually don't put a lot of list on it, as you can see on the HMS hood over there, but it looks just enough where it looks really, really nice. So again, you'll line up your ship, or should still be sitting here against your grid, and then all you're going to do, instead of going from aft forward to aft, you're going to go from either port to starboard or left to right, right to left, depending on which way your list is going. So if you're going this way, you'll have to pull over your first 5 blocks or whatever it is, and then move everything up 1. And then same thing, move it over and then up 1, over and up 1, over and up 1, and you will get something that looks like this. Again, that's your challenge part of this tutorial. I give you enough information so that you can at least sink it straight, and you go ahead and hone your skills and practice, 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 and you will get a very, very nice effect with just a little bit of practice. If you're doing this manually, like I said in the first part, God be with you, and time be with you too. But it will make you a very, very good builder. You will learn a lot of really nice techniques by doing it by hand. Again, you just got to have a lot of time, and you got to have a lot of patience. So that is it for this part of the tutorial. All right, welcome back, you brave souls. You guys are brave and really, really want a challenge. So anyways, we're going to pick up pretty much where we left off on the last, the first section. All right, so you want to sink a ship. You want to, you've either already built it, or you're fixing to follow, hopefully, one of my tutorials or somebody else's. You're still going to want to lay out the rough dimensions. You're going to want to find out how long the ship is. You want to find out how tall the ship is. You're going to want to find out how wide the ship is. So basically, I'm going to build a kind of a little new section over here and do this on a very, very small scale, just so you can see what we're going to do. We're going to have a little center line, and we're going to say that the ship is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to say that it's 15 blocks wide, and we're going to say from the very bottom of the ship to the very top of the ship. Again, to make it easy, we're going to go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're going to go 12, and then we're going to put our water line. Let's say it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's go 7. Let's say our water line is right there. Normally, that is where your ship would go. So if you followed this back, and let's say your ship is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Again, we're going to make this on a very, very small scale. This is what you're going to be laying out first, where your ship is going to be sitting. Don't even start building your ship until you get the guidelines laid out. You want a lot of different blocks around this thing to get an idea of exactly where this thing is going to be. You want all your center lines, and you're going to want all your angles connected. I'm going to show you how to do that here in just a second, so go ahead and pull this across. Again, this is the maximum height of the ship. If you don't know that yet, you can either build the ship first. Hopefully, if you're following one of my tutorials, I always try to give the height on the ship anyway, so you'll have that. And then just make this like 1 block higher, or make this right at the top. It doesn't matter. Somewhere in there, you just want it close. All right, so once you have your basic block figured out, now you're going to figure your angle. Now, when you sink your ship, again, if you're just doing it in a regular MCedit world, a regular Minecraft world, you're going to need a lot more water to play with. So that is where your normal water line would be. When you sink the ship, obviously if we do it from here, you're not going to get a really good sink action going. You're still going to have the front of your ship where it's at. As you can see over here, if I started sinking the Titanic here, just a little bit of it is still going to be underwater. So like from here forward, 9 blocks deep, or whatever this was, 10 blocks deep, was going to be underwater. To get a really good sink going, either double your water line and start your build higher. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go ahead and just move it up by 1. And we're going to say the water line is now here. So we'll just draw your water line across. Get rid of the old water line so you don't get confused. And again, just go underwater that many more blocks. Obviously, I'm doing this above ground so you can see this a lot easier. So anyways, this is going to be your new water line right here. So just go down, double the height of the water line on the original ship. So again, if it was here, just count down another 5 or 8 blocks, 9 blocks, 12 blocks, whatever it is, and that will give you a pretty good idea, or a pretty good guideline to go by. Sorry guys, this is a little rough for me to try to teach, but I am trying. So now you'll have a new center line down here for the very front of your ship. So this will be your starting block on like say my tutorial where I say, build a little angle piece where you go up by a couple and then you go out by a couple like this, and you start making the front of your ship. Let's say that is the the guide pieces that I always give on my ships to start all the different pieces. That is where you're going to put your starting block. So instead of normally where you would have it here, 8 or 10 blocks underwater, it's going to be double. You're just going to start off deeper, and that is going to be where your first block is going to go. Now you want to figure out the angle from here up to where the back of your frame is anyways. Again, this is going to be the back of our ship. This will be above the water by the time we are finished. So we want to go above the water again, several blocks, and we're going to try to create the angle that we want to go. Now this being so damn short, I'm going to get a very, very sharp angle if I try to grab the top of this one here down to this one here. But the idea is you're going to start on this block here, and again, if you're good at figuring out angles, you're going to take the height that you're going to have back here, and you're going to divide it by your length, and that's going to give you how many pieces you have. So again, if it's 50 blocks high and 100 blocks long, then each section is going to be 2 blocks long, and it's going to climb by 2 blocks at a time all the way to the back. So again, if we have let's grab some white blocks again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you're going to divide 10 by 10 is going to give you 1. So if you just go up by 1 each time, that's going to give you a 45-degree angle. All right, so you're not going to want to go a 45-degree angle. And as you can see right there, that gives you an angle for a 10 by 10 ship. Again, now if you're going to go longer, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now we're going to have a 20 by 10. And again, I'm going to put this block back in. You're going to divide that, your height by your length. So again, you're going to have, or your length by your height. So you're going to have 20 divided by 10. That's going to be a 2-block climb. So you're going to have 2, and then you're going to go 2, 2. And I know you got to use math for this sometimes, guys. If you're doing it manually, that's why I said this is the hard way to do it. You're just going to go up, keep going up by 2, 2, and 2. And now you can see, oops, that is your 20 by 10 ship. So again, you can figure it out that way by dividing your length by your height, and that will give you how many blocks. So I think this one over here is like a bunch of 7s, and there might be a couple 6s mixed in because I did use World Edit, and it figures it out a hell of a lot closer on that angle. But anyways, that's how you figure out your angle. Once you figure out the angle of the ship, you're just going to start building it up, and then you'll have your guidelines. Once you have your guidelines, so let's say we're going to do, well, again, this is going to be kind of weird. We're going to do 3 by 3s. All right, so let's build out our 3s. All right, and I know that ended up where that water line is, but let's say that just continues going backwards all the way up, and that is your angle. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to set up either guidelines on the side, or you're going to try to remember that it's every 3 blocks on your pattern, you're going to move up. So if you're following my tutorial, and we're going to go to, say, like layer 2, we're going to grab our light gray wool, and we're going to start building our ship, and I'm going to say, all right, go off the first block, and you're going to outline this, and you're going to go back by 2, and then you're going to go out by 1. You know, whatever the pattern is on the ship, whenever you go out or you reach, one of these sections, you're going to actually go up and then start building that. So maybe this is back by 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, obviously, because we went up here, most of this section is going to be up. So this is going to be up, and then this one's going to be up. Very, very challenging. So you got your 7 going back, and you're out by 1. So basically all you're doing is you're going flat, and you're raising it according to your guide. And say the next section is out by 8, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then go back and then start raising it up. So oops, I did that one right. Yeah, that's right. This one's wrong. So yeah, no, that's right. You're going to go up and out. So because you're staying to the outside, I told you this could get very, very confusing. So you're going to go up 3, and then up again and out. So you're just staying every 3, you're going up and out. So again, here 1, 2, 3, and then here 1, 2, 3, until the pattern stops, and then that gives you layer number 2. And then you're going to go back in later after you get everything done and try to fill in all your gaps, just to make it look better or whatever. So you can go in like this. If it's a very easy design, it will be very, very simple to fill in, just like that. This is the challenging part right here. And again, you're just going to continue your pattern, whatever you're following on your tutorial, out. And then layer 3, you're going to go up and then out. And then say you're going to connect in right here, and you're going to go up and then out. And again, you're going to go out by 1. And then you're going to go up and out by 3. And then say, again, whatever your pattern is, 12, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You're going to have to break that into sections of 3. It's going to get very, very confusing very, very fast. If you're going to need to be very, 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 very patient. And I know I've said very a lot of times, but this is the extreme hardest way to build a ship sinking in Minecraft. If you can do this, you are a very, very good builder and way more patient than I could ever possibly be in Minecraft. But this is kind of a guide. It will give you a very rough idea on how to figure out how to sink your ship from start to finish. I would advise, again, building the ship a couple times first and kind of getting a feel for the ship. If that's going to be your sole project for like 5 months is sinking a ship by hand, you're going to have to dedicate a lot of your time just to building the ship and figuring out your different angles, figuring out your different water lines, how deep you want it to be sunk in the water, if you're going to list it, all that kind of stuff. Again, God be with you. It's very, very tough. This is a very hard thing to do in Minecraft, and I would say the majority of the ones that I see all over YouTube and PMC and stuff like that, they have used MCedit, and then they have gone back and filled in all the tearing on the ship. if somebody has done this by hand and you're not lying about it, then congratulations, you are a very good builder. So anyways, guys, hopefully that helps. That's the best I can explain this to you. I'm sure there's a lot of stuttering and there's a lot of broken up pieces in this video where I'm trying to think of what to say. I did not build this by hand, but that is how I would go about it right here. I would build a jig around the ship and then lay out each of the sections where I would go up, and I would just start building it and hope to God that it came out right. If it works, let me know in the comment section a few months from after this video goes up, because I'm sure that's how long it will take. Or if you used MCedit, that's great. I wish you the best of luck, guys. That's the best I can do on teaching you how to sink a ship. Like always, I appreciate you watching. Remember to rate, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Later.